Good day, guys, and welcome to my hurricane forecast. Today, I'm going to be talking about tropical disturbance 1 that the National Hurricane Center labeled. Now, if you notice in my previous forecast that I talked about tropical disturbance just emerging off the coast of Africa, and now the National Hurricane Center has labeled it. So, right now, as of now, the National Hurricane Center has it at a 20% chance of development in the next 5 days and a low 10% in the next 48 hours. So, with the 10% chance of formation, then that's a very low percent chance of formation that the National Hurricane Center has with this tropical disturbance. But the chances could increase for development as we get into later this week, or maybe even by tomorrow the chances could start to increase for this tropical disturbance form, as most of the models show it at least becoming a tropical depression or a tropical storm, then more moving towards the northeastern than the National Hurricane Center advisor says. So the GFS model and the ECMWF model has this becoming a tropical depression probably in the next 5 days or in the next 48 hours. And the majority of the models actually do show this forming, but it rather moves in this path and does not affect land except for the Cape Verde Islands, which means that if you live around there, you may potentially get affected by this. And the reason why I'm making a forecast in this because the National Hurricane Center has labeled it, and as I said, the majority of the models has this becoming a tropical storm or a tropical depression. So now we're going to be looking at the possibilities of a tropical depression or a tropical storm forming within the next 48 hours or within the next 5 days. So right now, currently in the next 48 hours, there's currently a 10% chance of formation, which is right below this period. 10% chance of formation in the next 48 hours, low, but still at least it has a chance of development somewhere in this area. Now we're going to look at the chances of formation within the next 5 days. Within the next 5-day period, there is a high 60 to 70% chance of a tropical depression or a tropical storm forming within this area, as you can see here, which means that the potential of this turning into a tropical depression is sort of high because the majority of the models have it at least becoming a tropical depression, then moving just towards the Cape Verde Islands and potentially affecting that area maybe as a tropical depression or a tropical storm. So, with this, we may potentially see a tropical depression or a tropical storm form and just move northeastward, then potentially start moving northwestward. Then it would turn to this full forward westward movement across the Atlantic, or it could potentially just continue to head up north. So, with all of this, I'm going to look at the heat potential in that area, and I'm going to see how high the water temperatures are in that area for a tropical depression to form, or if it's supportive enough for a tropical depression to form in that general area. Now, guys, water temperatures are favorable as it gets off the coast of Africa, and the National Hurricane Center has the low pressure somewhere in that area, and they have it move up towards the Cape Verde Islands and somewhere affect this area. Now, if you notice, water temperatures are warm enough to support tropical development just south of the Cape Verde Islands, and as we get more north of the Cape Verde Islands, water temperatures are not warm enough to support tropical development, which means that if it does stay in this south in this area, it would develop more or less, or if it moves up quickly towards the north, then it would more or less not have a chance of development. So, if it lingers in this area for a longer period than it does in that area, then we may likely see a tropical depression form if it stays in this general area for the next 5 days or within the next 48 hours. So, even if it moves back towards that area which is on the east, northeast. If it moves northeast, then it could potentially develop, because then it would have more warm waters to move into. But if it was almost off the coast of Africa, then it would more or less develop, because water temperatures are higher in that area. So if it does move up towards the north, then it's definitely going to have a short period of time to develop in that area. But when it enters these water temperatures, then I would say it would more or less weaken from it was previously. So we're going to take a quick look at the satellite image on this tropical disturbance, and we're going to read the National Hurricane Center advisory. Now, the National Hurricane Center advisory quotes that a surface trough of low pressure over the eastern Atlantic Ocean, centered a few hundred miles south of the Cabo Verde Islands is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some development is possible while this system during the next couple of days while it moves northward northwestward before the system moves into cooler water temperatures by Thursday. Now, if you notice what I said that it would move in water temperatures that are not favorable or favorable or would not support tropical development. So, with that being said, if it lingers more towards the south of the Cabo Verde Islands, then it will more or less develop. But if it moves up towards the north very quickly, then it will more or less weaken, and we would see maybe just a tropical depression. But at this point, it does says that the system could get a little more organized, and some development of the system is possible during the next couple of days before it moves into cooler water temperatures. So the National Hurricane Center advisory does said that it might potentially develop as it moves towards the Cabo Verde Islands. And I'm going to take a look at the satellite image on this tropical disturbance. Now guys, this is the latest satellite image on tropical disturbance 1, and it seems to be somewhere in that area, because you can see there's lots of showers and thunderstorms activity in that area, and that may continue to move up towards the northwest before it decides to go towards the northeast. Then it would more or less start to curve towards the west as it gets more to the north. So this is where the tropical disturbance is currently, and it is expected to form a little bit before it moves up towards this area where water temperatures are less favorable for development. So guys, I run some previous models on this, and I run it on my previous forecast, so go and watch that. And thank you for watching this forecast. I'm going to be issuing more forecasts on tropical disturbance 1 as we're going to continue to monitor its progress.